In the film's captivating opening scene, we end up on a wild and twisting street with Joey, who is going towards her siblings' boating rental camp. She gets a call from her energetic sweetheart, James, who's asking about her continuous experience. James wanders into their arrangements for the future, indicating investigating potential homes together after her outing. However, Joey's disposition deceives an absence of excitement for the discussion with her beau. In a little while, Joey ultimately shows up at the camping area where she heartily embraces a husky man named Dim, who we before long learn is her sibling. Dim acquaints her with two of his clients, the enthusiastic Clarissa and the friendly Van. Prior to diving into his business, he energetically shares plans for an impending boating outing and amazements Joey with the disclosure that their cherished companion Trevor has chosen to go along with them. Regardless of it being his vacation day, Joey is shocked by this, and her response isn't one of unrestrained delight. Minutes after the fact, Trevor shows up close by, sharing his energy for joining the experience. When he learned of her interest, we discover that he's as of late being set free from a 3-year spell in prison, and that Dark has allowed him an opportunity to turn his life around by offering him a spot in his waterway business. Joey's career choice as a doctor is revealed, and her uneasiness is palpable as she speaks with Trevor. But she pretends as if everything is okay. Soon after, the group rallies together, preparing for their forthcoming rafting adventure. While Gray provides instructions on paddling techniques, Joey appears to be bothered by something but gradually warms to the group's good vibes. Moments later, Gray informs them to get ready because they are about to encounter their first rapids. After navigating the rapids, the group eventually takes a break in an idyllic spot before venturing into the woods under Gray's guidance to set up camp. Once they finish building the tents, Clarissa humorously inquires about restroom facilities, prompting Gray to suggest finding a suitable tree while giving her a bear maze for safety. As night falls, they gather around a crackling campfire, sharing drinks and stories. Joey's discomfort grows as the group presses her for details about her boyfriend, so she reluctantly discloses that they met while working both as doctors. The girl's comments imply that he's a handsome doctor, which triggers jealousy in Trevor because he seems to be into Joey right from the beginning. As the night progresses, Joey, who is tired, excuses herself to go into her tent. Later, she announces her intention to befriend a tree and heads into the dark to take a leak. Just then, Trevor, feeling the effects of alcohol, claims that he's going to do the same thing and walks into the darkness. Meanwhile, in her own tent, Joey sifts through her phone, contemplating a message from her boyfriend, to which she responds with an affirmative message. But the bad network leaves her message undelivered. Just as Joey begins to drift into sleep, "Guys, we need help here." All of them hear Trevor shouting for help, and the rest of the group rushes to the scene. In the darkness, they find Van on the ground with a severe head wound. Joey quickly instructs her to lie down on the ground here. Trevor repeatedly insists that Van slipped and hit her head on a rock. Gray directs Trevor to take his first aid kit and satellite phone, and Joey tells Gray to take some big sticks to support Vance's neck. It's then that Van reveals a disturbing truth. Trevor had attempted to assault her, leaving Joey momentarily stunned when Trevor reappears. Joey helps in stopping the bleeding, and then Trevor mentions that the satellite phones have dead batteries. Hearing this, Gray points out that the nearest help is a ranger station, but that it will take 2 hours of rapid paddling to get there because there is no road. Vance's condition is critical due to a skull fracture. Gray instructs the others to pack up, much to Trevor's discontent, as they have to raft on the river in the dark. But Gray insists they have no other choice. The group swiftly packs their belongings and embarks on their boat. Gray then scolds Trevor for failing to charge the phones as instructed, leading to a heated exchange of words between them. Van finds solace in her friend Clarissa as she reminds Clarissa of how she had always been there for her during times of illness and trouble. After being on the water for a while, Van starts having seizures, and Joey manages to stabilize her on the raft. But time is running out with less than an hour left until they get to their destination. Gray tells them to get ready for some big water. As the group approaches a jagged section of the river, Gray instructs the others to make a sharp left and right turn. All of them are able to get through the strong rapids by following Gray's directions. But at some point, everyone does what they are told, except Trevor, who seems clueless. As a result, the entire crew is caught in the turbulent current, and their boat capsizes, forcing them to grab onto something in order to survive. Joey manages to cling to a rock for safety, calling out to the others. Meanwhile, Gray swims to where Van lies unconscious, grabs onto another rock, and climbs out of the river. He then brings Van to Joey, who begins performing CPR to revive her. Gray goes in search of Carissa and finds Trevor by himself before hearing Carissa scream for help. Acting quickly, Gray holds Trevor from behind, and Trevor asks Carissa to grab his hand. Despite her reluctance to do so, when she sees Trevor's face after both guys help Carissa, Joey speaks privately with Gray about what really happened between Van and Trevor, expressing her belief that Trevor deliberately paddled slowly to cause the boat to capsize. Gray, however, dismisses her suspicions, insisting that Trevor couldn't have done something so sinister. Just as Trevor arrives, the siblings pretend as if nothing is amiss. The following morning, the group resumes their journey, and we can see Trevor's nervousness as they get closer to the ranger station. As soon as they arrive on dry land, the girls wait by the river for Trevor and Gray to return with assistance from the ranger station. However, Trevor stops Gray along the way. He is terrified and tells Gray that it was not him and it was all an accident. We also learn that Trevor is a felon on probation and didn't want another incident on his record. He asks Gray to back him up as it was for him that he went to jail in the first place. So Gray assures him that he has his back. Once they reach the Rangers' home base, Gray becomes anxious when it seems nobody is there. Soon after, a vehicle arrives, and it's the Ranger. Gray explains that a girl slipped and suffered a head injury requiring a helicopter. The Ranger heads inside to make the call, but Trevor abruptly seizes the telephone, preventing him from calling for help. The Ranger eyes Trevor suspiciously and attempts to retrieve the phone, leading to a physical struggle. He then draws a gun, and Trevor initially relents, but then lunges for the weapon, and a violent scuffle ensues. "Guys, come on, just jump the gun." Trevor gets out. Things get even worse when Trevor stabs the Ranger with his knife. He even claims that the Ranger was trying to kill him. Gray tries to apply pressure to the Ranger's wound to save him, but Trevor insists it's futile. Gray then argues that if the Ranger survives, they can get a helicopter to rescue Van, and Trevor won't be a murderer. But as he desperately tries to resuscitate the Ranger, Trevor destroys the phone and forces Gray to reaffirm their alliance with great effort. They carry the Ranger to his car and push it off a cliff. The car explodes moments later, providing them with a cover for their actions later on. Trevor and Gray return to the ladies who eagerly inquire about the incoming helicopter. Carissa steps back in fear upon seeing a gun in Trevor's hands, while Gray informs them that they will change their plans and head toward the Canadian patrol. Joey then questions them about the Ranger, and Trevor simply states that he is dead. Joey also explains that Van will die if they get back into the water. But Trevor remains resolute in his decision. Later, they continue paddling, and tragically, Vance succumbs to her injuries mid-river. After a while, Gray pleads with Trevor to allow them to take a break, as both women are exhausted and unable to paddle any longer. In a pivotal moment, a passing hiker spots the group and offers to seek help, wondering if they require a helicopter. Trevor, however, reassures the hiker, emphasizing Joey's medical expertise, and Van just had a little fall. The hiker engages in casual conversation for a while and extends his assistance, but Trevor declines, so the hiker eventually departs just as he departs. Trevor suggests to Gray that they should shoot the hiker to prevent him from seeking help or alerting authorities. But Gray manages to dissuade Trevor from this idea. Gray states that they should take a break after some time spent paddling through the river and that Van's burial is of the utmost importance. Once they reach dry land again, they proceed to bury Van. And Carissa is crying all along as it was her plan to go rafting. As they venture further into the woods to set up camp, Trevor decides to confide in Joey and Carissa, revealing that Gray isn't the saint he's pretending to be. Trevor recounts a dark secret. Gray was running a successful drug business, but he got nabbed for petty crime to save Gray's ass. Trevor took the blame on himself and went to jail. The money Gray was pulling was huge, and he was like a brother to Trevor. Plus, Trevor had no family other than Gray and Joey. Later in the evening, Trevor ties up Carissa, Gray, and Joey and shows unexpected concern, asking Joey if the ropes are too tight. Joey remains silent as Trevor covers her with a blanket before drifting off to sleep. Thanks for watching Real Recapped. Please hit the subscribe button so you can get notified for more videos like this.